You're watching and listening to the latest Red and Blue review show. For all your Crystal Palace related chat, please like and subscribe across all the usual social media platforms, especially our YouTube channel. This really helps us out. Now, let's get on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and a very warm welcome to the Red and Blue review. My name is Nick Philpott. I'm your host for the next hour, and I'm shortly going to be joined by the usual suspects. Here they come, one by one. First up is Paul Gear. Good evening, mate.
Hi, Nick. Hi, everyone. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate.
Yeah, finally off the losing run, so hopefully it'll be a bit
okay, I've got a fiver on who says, I've written down 2 words here, okay? I've written them down. And I want to know which one of you is going to say it first. And the one that says it, I want £10 to a charity. Okay, I've written it down here. Okay, gorgeous Yasmin Broom. Good evening to you.
Evening, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very well. I'm looking at all of you out in the chat. Ian Noble. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Good evening, Nick Philpott, and good evening, everyone watching the Red and Blue review. It's good to be here.
So what? Okay, what's the big event that's happened in the last hour, guys?
Transfer window.
And?
What?
What follows that?
What follows the transfer window? The end of the window. The closing of the window.
Oh, you're close. You're not there. Yaz, what's just happened to the transfer window?
It's shut.
We've signed someone and it's been extended.
Okay, Paul Keir, what happened to the transfer window?
It's slammed shut.
There it is!
I've been
the transfer window slammed shut. Now, I know Paul listened to this earlier on. Okay, but on the way home from work this afternoon, good evening to everybody that's out there, by the way. I can see you all. Your names are popping up left, right, and centre, and we'll say hello to a few of them in a minute. But on the way home from work this afternoon, I get into the car, and it's Crystal Palace, Crystal Palace, Crystal Palace. Oh, it's Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace. To the point where TalkSport, and Paul will verify this because he heard it as well. TalkSport said we may as well just shut down the station and en masse get over to SE25, Sellers Park, because nothing else is happening apart from the words Crystal Palace. And I'm looking to my left now, and the TV screen is still on Sky Sports News, and it's Crystal Palace this, Mateta that, da-da-da-da. We're going to cover all that during the next hour, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to review briefly the Forest game yesterday. I think there's been 2 schools of thought really about yesterday's game. I, for one, didn't think it was a shameful performance. I know we were against 10 men. We've never been particularly good against 10 men, but Ian is going to be covering that in a few minutes' time. And then we're going to be taking any questions from you in the YouTube chat. Now, those of you who are on the YouTube chat, and I'm looking at you all, I can see all your names popping up. I posed a question right at the very top of the chat, okay? You might need to scroll back to see it. I would like to know your thoughts, please, on the Mateta situation. And the question very simply is, there it is, it's right there. Good evening, everyone. Please leave your thoughts on the transfer window here. Any questions from my illustrious panel and Ian in this chat, okay? What's next for Jean-Philippe Mateta? I'd love your thoughts and we value your input, and we will get to them. Yaz is going to be reading some of them as they go through. Let us know what you think. Get on with it, Nick. Okay, yeah, that's what I just got told. Ian, could you cover the Forest game before we get on to this very busy transfer window?
Yeah, look, we're going to do this quite quickly tonight, I think, because we've got the window to talk about. Let's get the team line up, Nigel, if we can, please. 3 changes from the Chelsea game. Riyad's in for Cambo, Hughes is in for Wharton, and Pino's in for the want-away Mateta. The talking point, really, when we got the team sheet was the bench, of course. Just 7 players named on the bench, 2 of those goalkeepers, Uche, Cambo, Klein, and 2 kids, Marsh and Rodney. And that was our bench. So probably the weakest bench we've ever had in the Premier League. And that was a cause for concern. I know, Paul Gear, you had something to say about the lineup and the team selection, didn't you, before we get into the game? So what were your thoughts pre-match?
Yeah, I mean the first 11's not too bad, is it? You can't go wrong with that. It was the strongest 11 we could put out. I thought it was a really poor that bench. I mean, we could have probably put another couple of youngsters on there, although if he's not going to use them, there's probably not much point. But we only had 3 senior players on the bench, and when Klein, Camvo, and Uche are the only players you can bring on to change a game, I think it just unfortunately showed the weakness of our transfer window. To go into a game like that yesterday, which was a winnable and crucial, becoming more crucial by the week as it's been crucial game, to go into the game with a squad like that was, I think, pretty poor from the club.
I think the word you used yesterday was scandalous. Scandalous that we
It probably was, yeah.
a game like that, so important in the Premier League against one of our most bitter rivals away from home with such a depleted squad. Knowing that the game was coming, knowing that we've had 30 days of this transfer window to do something about it, and can you remember what Paul said about Gessend? You know, why we didn't sign him another 5 hours? We could have played him as well, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have done. I'm with Paul on that. Why didn't we get him in time for that game?
Yeah. I mean, he wanted away from Aston Villa. It was clear, you know, so there were no excuses there. Anyway, we can. It's not for us to reason why necessarily. The referee was Tony Harrington. He came onto the league list in 2021, and he was down to be the VAR official. But we can only assume that Michael Salisbury got an injury, so why Harrington took his place. But he seemed to give every free kick to the Seamer sack in the Trent end throughout the whole game. So Forest got all the decisions in the first half, and we got most of them in the second half. We must have won the toss because you turned them around. They preferred to attack the Trent end as we do the Homestay in the second half. Listen, we started pretty brightly, didn't we? There was a loose ball that was collected by Pino, and he played Brendan Johnson in on the left-hand side. I think he tried to play Sarin on the right, but it was blocked. Johnson picks it up, plays it back to Pino. He lays it beautifully for Hughes, whose shot was blocked. And then Lerma's effort that was bounced back was well saved by Matt Sells, and it's probably the best effort in the whole game, literally after 3 minutes. It didn't get any better than that, did it? It's probably the best effort on target that we had, aside from the penalty that went in. From the resulting corner, Forest broke quickly, and Jesus went down in the box, sliding challenge under Chris Richards, and there was a VAR check. It was up the other end to us. It looked like he played the ball. He did get the ball, thankfully, but it was a risky one to play. But there was no penalty given. But the resulting long throw did lead to their goal after just 5 minutes. It wasn't dealt with. A bit of head tennis in the box, really, and it fell kindly to Morgan Gibbs-White, who slotted it away for 1-0 on 5 minutes. And I couldn't quite believe that we were losing 1-0, given the way we started. I thought we started really brightly, but they got their noses in front. But it didn't deter us. I think we responded well to going behind. There were various moves. Johnson corner was put in. I thought his corners were pretty good. Whipped in from the left-hand side with his right foot. And a Forest centre-back, I think he headed it just wide of the goal. I mean, it was going to be a classic OG if it had gone in for a corner on the other side. And then there was a move from a corner, this time from the right-hand side. Johnson whipped the ball in, and it was Lacroix this time. But it stayed up from the corner. He got his head on it, but just over the bar. And that would have been nice for me because I've got Lacroix in my fantasy team. So having conceded the clean sheet, it would have been nice to get 6 points there, but not to be. Yasmin, you had something to say about the Sarr chance that went begging. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so I just can't understand why when Sarr got the ball, and he was on the side, but he's got enough quality to have shot from there. And when he laid it off, I didn't know what to do with myself. I just thought, if someone like Sarr is not going to take a shot, who in this team is going to take a shot? You know, that's how I felt.
Yeah, we were holding our heads in the away end, weren't we? Wondering how on earth he's not got a shot away there. But he squares it across the box, and of course, no one picks it up. Phillips von David says, I'm talking so fast, the internet can't keep up. I'll slow down. I was trying to get it in quick.
Ian, that's why I had my hand up for, mate. Just to let you know, Ian, just so you're aware, Paul, I'm coming to you now. There is an issue with your sound, Ian, okay? So, Yaz, that's what Yaz and I were just messaging about. Nigel's aware of it as well. We're going to come back to you in 1 second. Paul, over to you, mate.
Sunderland 1, Burnley 0. They had a shot and it deflected in. It's amazing what happens when you do shoot.
Massive, isn't it? And Yaz, you wanted to say hello to some people in the chat while we're just checking on Ian's sound.
Yeah, so we've got Stephen Dyer, Simon Philpott, Elio04, Keith Parker, Robert Watmore, of course, Philip Swan David, who we know, Ian James Appley. Oh, why is it open?
Now yours is going.
Sorry, John Knox, Leon Sounds. We got Teresa, Mark Callahan, Paul Friend, Mary M, Michelle Piggott, Keith Parker, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Ian Donald, our travelling buddy. Who else? Sorry if I miss anyone. Phil Usher.
And Lucy, Phil and Lucy Usher out there.
Yeah.
Evening, you lot.
Dawn Palace. Hi, Dawn. And Phil Bell, Matthew Bay, George. Hi, George. Daniel, Lee Lockwood, Rob Cranfield, who made a rather rude remark about Bonnie Blue, but we won't repeat it. Right, so
right, Ian, let's see if yours is settled down.
I'm gonna try again. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot Paul Bristow. Sorry, guys, I'm being excommunicated.
Paul Bristow from Plymouth. Me, he says. Me. I missed the comment from Rob going through. I need to go back and read that.
So did I. I'm gonna look for it while you're talking.
It was fairly accurate.
Oh, okay. But it's a family show, so we probably can't read it out.
No.
I think that's what you're saying, Yasmin, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a series of corners in the first half. We had clearly more of the ball than Nottingham Forest. We were the better side, even though we were behind 1-0. It really felt that we were on the ascendancy, and obviously the team were attacking the away end. So it's just coming towards half time now. Corner on the right hand side, and Hughes swung it in with his left foot. So these in-swinging corners are causing problems. We've had a week to work on the training ground, and I was quite impressed by the corners. I thought we did pretty well with them. And Lerma, he can really jump well. He leapt above everybody, and his header was heading for the top corner until Nico Williams was prime Gordon Banks by pushing it around the post. Now, from the away end, it really looked like he'd headed it off the line. I had no idea he'd committed an offence. Paul and Yaz, were you in agreement with that at the time? Did you?
I thought it was an excellent clearance. I thought he headed it really clear, but I saw the players appealing. I just thought they were appealing that it had gone over the line. But then obviously the ref blew his whistle straight away, pointed the spot, took the red card out straight away, and it was pretty clear obviously what had happened. But yeah, no, it was a brilliant save.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? And, fantastic. So cue celebrations as we've got a penalty kick. And, of course, we didn't know who's going to take the pen. Now we know that Ismail Assar is on pens. So another reason to bring him into your fantasy
Just
team.
a strange little point on that. Go back to that picture. Hughes taking the throw when we got Lerma in the team.
No, it was a corner.
Corner.
Corner. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. Corner.
Carry on.
Yeah, he swung it in. And so little time goes by. We settle the away fans there behind the goal to the left, and a little dinky run up, which I know some people don't like. And he waited for Sells to go to his left, and then he rolled it. I thought he rolled it in the other side, but he almost rolled it down the middle. There wasn't, it was pretty much down the centre, but it was a nice, cool as you like penalty kick. Sends Sells the wrong way, slots the ball home, and on 45 minutes, it's one each. We had another little attack after that, little flurry, and we're thinking, can we be leading at half time? But it wasn't to be. And we knew then that we were going to be playing 10 men in the second half. Forest, of course, made changes. They brought on an extra defender. And unbeknown to us, Matt Sells was injured, and they brought on their goalkeeper to make a debut at half time. Who was the keeper? A Scottish guy, isn't he? What was he called?
Angus Gunn.
Angus Gunn, that's right. Yeah, I had heard of him. And he was making a debut. And ironically, they just signed Ortega from Manchester City as well. So they've got goalkeepers galore at Forest. But the sad thing was that we didn't really test the rookie goalkeeper. The second half was a bizarre watch because we had loads of the ball. I think we had something like 76% possession in the second period. And Max Lacroix was passing it to Shadi Riyad. He was passing it back. He was passing it to Riches. He was passing it to Munoz. He was passing it back. And so it went on. And we couldn't really find a way through. Glasner talked about the first 15, 20 minutes being okay. And I suppose that was fine to an extent. We were patient. We were patient in the build-up. But we didn't really break them down, full stop. There was an incident on 54 minutes when Pino got booked. There was a little bit of afters. He was played through. He lost possession and he raised his hand. So I think he was a little bit lucky. And Morgan Gibbs-White was in the ref's ear trying to get him sent off. But it wasn't to be. It was just a yellow card. The only substitution was on the hour mark. Uche comes on for Chadi Riyad. And we think, great, we want to win this game against 10 men. We've got a forward player on, taking a defender off. You can see Glasner on the touchline doing this with the 4 fingers, reverting to 4 at the back. But Paul, that lasted for how long? About 10 minutes, didn't it? I think.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. Unfortunately, it didn't give us much chance to try and bed into that shape. I mean, Riyad obviously was his first start in over a year. So he did well to last as long as he did. He got a rather bizarre booking in the first half, which was. He managed to get booked when the ref wasn't even watching and had already blown the whistle. And then he was a bit fortunate because one of their blokes broke through into our half and they had a little leg collision. And on another day, he could have got a red card, second yellow. So I think he was being taken off protection for his fitness, protection for that as well. So it made sense with Forest only playing 1 forward. We don't need 3 centre backs. So really going to back forward, sensible. Uche up top them. Really, we probably should have stayed the whole game.
I thought it was very positive. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I know the manager's Glasner's coming through a lot of criticism recently, but he showed a little bit of intent there that he wanted to go in for the game for the win, and I thought it was a very positive move.
Absolutely, but we sort of ran out of ideas. There was no killer instinct there. There was nobody. Phrase I used. There was nobody that was prepared to take responsibility. And then when we did have shots, Uche had a shot that was wide, pretty pathetic, really. Hughes had one that was, ended up in row Z. We just couldn't break them down. When Munoz got the ball down the right, his crosses were either being overhit or they were along the floor and being easily intercepted. It was a tough watch. And most of it was at the other end. And then, of course, what was happening is that Forest were then breaking, hitting us on the break. And that was causing cause for concern because we sort of weren't ready for it. And there was a couple of times when, Riyad was the last man. He just about got a foot in and intercepted it and that kind of thing. And it was a tough watch, as I said. So we couldn't break them down, even right up to the stoppage time. Only 3 minutes of stoppage time in the second half. We're throwing the ball into the penalty area, but it wasn't to be. Yasmin, come in here, please do.
I was going to say that you and I both thought that he should have taken Munoz off because towards the end he looked absolute. I don't know. I mean, I hope he wasn't injured, but he just looked terrible. He couldn't really move, couldn't really put the crosses in, and it would have made sense to put someone on for him because he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, you're right.
Ian, can I ask you a question? Do you think our lack of creativity in the second half was down to the lack of leadership? I mean, obviously we've lost Mark now, who would be. I mean, he's not responsible for our lead for our attacking prowess, but I mean, the biggest one you've got on the pitch at that point is Will Hughes. Are we lacking leadership in the middle of the pitch?
I think we are lacking leadership. I don't think there's a standout captain. I think the fact that he's given the armband to Dean Henderson says it all, really. Hughes, if he was an automatic selection, he might get the captaincy. And I know he said Hughes and Lacroix are sort of vice captains, if you like. But Lacroix, I don't think, English is second language. I'm not sure he's the right person to be captain. I don't think he's a good centre back. I don't think he's a natural leader necessarily. And I think we do lack leadership on the pitch. I think I'll make you right. I think that's true. I don't know whether that's a reason why we didn't break them down. I think we didn't break them down because they put 10 men behind the ball and parked the proverbial bus. And we're very happy to sit back, wait, absorb, pick it up, hit us on the break a little bit. They were very conscious they had 10 men, and it was sort of typical Sean Dyche ball. That's what he does. He does it very well. And he's made them hard to break down. What you've got to remember is that this is a Nottingham Forest team as well, who, They'd just come off the back of a 4-0 win in Europe on Thursday night. So maybe they were a bit tired as well, but they won 4-0. And the previous home game, they'd drawn 0-0 with Arsenal. And they'd gone to Brentford the last.
Oh, they're on a good run. They're on a good run.
No mugs at all. No mugs at all. Yeah, do you want to come in?
Just on the captaincy, if you saw Morgan Gibbs-White yesterday, he was doing exactly what you want a captain to do. Every time he was up there going on at the ref, you know, any ball, nothing too small for him not to go up to them. And that's what we need. We need someone doing that, especially at the moment. As you say, I don't know who that could be, to be honest.
Yeah.
One of the comments in the chat just now was we're lacking leadership off the pitch as well at the moment, which made me smile a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll just come back to last week's Chelsea game. We were talking about this on the way up yesterday, is that Adam Wharton's 2 yellow cards within 5 minutes last week. If we had a leader on the pitch last week, once Wharton gets booked once, the captain puts his arm around him and says, Adam, just don't do that again in this game because the game's gone, we're 3-0 down, all right? So just hold it. Do not dive in again. If he's had that word in his ear, he doesn't dive in 5 minutes later and get a second yellow.
Well, again, you could argue that's the lack of leadership off the pitch. You'd just think if the manager's got anything about him, he would have pulled him off at that point. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. He was subbed him at that moment.
No, yes and no. We still want him on the pitch, but you know, it's just a question of having a quiet word with him and saying, "Look, just slow down a bit," because he's a kid. He's 21. You know, he's not quite a kid, but he's only 21. So, but having said that, Adam Wharton needed a rest, so he's got his rest, and now he can be refreshed for the Brighton game. So the game finishes 1-1, and we would have taken the point before kickoff for sure. You know, no doubt about it. Would have taken the point before kickoff, but when we are playing 10 men in the second half. There's a degree of disappointment, even though we've literally come from behind, away from home, and you think, actually, you know, respect the point. It should be a good point. Paul, what was your view of full time?
Yeah, I wasn't, as you know, I was not very happy. I thought the second half, the game was there for the taking, and we had a really good opportunity to put a massive gap between us and West Ham and us and Forest, and you've got to take these chances when you get them because they come back to haunt you if you don't. And as we said, people who know me on this show, my biggest issue with any team is when you can't even get a shot on target. We had 45 minutes. We had 2 corners. We didn't test the goalkeeper once. And that, to me, is unacceptable, whether it's against 10 men, 11 men or anything. And, you know, if you don't shoot on target, you don't win a game. And if you don't give yourself a chance to win a game, then there's no point playing. And it's crazy. And as I say, Forest, as we said, they played Thursday. They were probably tiring a bit. And really, it was just so slow and so pedestrian. And what annoyed me a bit, even in the 85th minute, we get the ball in our box, we stop one of their attacks, and Oliver Glasner's standing at the sideline saying, slow down, calm down. It's just another thing I've always said, there's no kitchen sink in this team. There's no urgency. Sometimes you need to go for it. Now, I know we said yesterday, okay, you do then run the risk of conceding a goal at your own end and what have you. Yes, that's always a risk, but attack is the best form of defence, and I'd much rather see a team trying to win the game than as we said, with 10, 15 minutes to go, we went back to a back 5, even though they got one forward and we got an extra man. And we're almost playing for a point at that point. And I thought, really, we should have been trying to press home the game yesterday.
Yeah, and I think it's a fair point. But nevertheless, it's you know, we didn't lose, and I think that was important. We did, you know, stop the proverbial rot, didn't we? You know, we've lost to Sunderland, we've lost to Newcastle. We lost even to Macclesfield away from home, lost to Leeds. So we haven't got a point on the road for a long time. And we managed that yesterday. And hopefully we can go on better next week. I think that's the key thing that we'll be looking at. So you looked at the stats with 2/3 possession as well. You know, I know we had an extra man in the second half, but 2/3 possession. And all the stats said, you know, we were the better side. I mean, you know, we're moaning about our lack of shots on target. They had less than us. We had 3, they had 1. You know, so they're not very good, really, ultimately. So that's the game, Nick, really. You know, if you enjoyed the game, you think we did a good job reporting on it, tell us or not, as the case may be. Sorry if I spoke a bit quick at the beginning. I was trying to get through it quickly. Nick?
I think, yeah, thanks for that, Ian. Well done, mate. I think it's... Would you excuse me just 1 sec?
Oh, he's gone off.
No, it's okay. I'm right here. I was just sorting something out, leaving the screen. I thought it was a little bit unfair, really. I was watching a lot of social media yesterday afternoon, and they were saying that we were poor in the second half. We were this, we were that. Even, I mean, we were getting baited an awful lot by the Forest fans saying that we were the worst team to have visited the City ground this season. What do your thoughts, Yaz?
Well, I was unhappy too. That thing outside the box, passing it back, forth. I don't know why we didn't just get it in the box each of those times. Yeah, they could have headed it out, but then, you know, it would give us a chance. But we never did that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's having no ideas. The chat is fairly split on the game. So some people feel the same as myself and Paul, that, you know, should have done better against 10 men and it's not really good enough. But then some people feel that the point was a good point to have, you know, to stop the rot that was coming in, and then we can look to push on against Brighton. But I can't remember who it was. Someone said, do we think that Glasner will lose his job if we lose to Brighton next week?
No.
Had we lost yesterday, yeah. I mean, first of all, let's just cover what you just said a minute ago, Yaz. I would have taken a point pre-kick-off as well. So I think it's a pretty damn good point.
I think
personally, had we lost yesterday and we lose against Brighton, then yes, I think we probably would have. That would have been the end of the road for him. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah. I just think we need to be mindful of the fact that, you know, they were told probably to be patient. The first 20 minutes, it looked okay. We were being patient. But what you're saying, Yaz, is that we then didn't change it up enough when that wasn't working. And to get more balls into the penalty area, that causes then someone to head it out. Those headers can go anywhere. And if you look at the goal that they scored, that's exactly what happened. They put the ball into the penalty area. We got a head on it. One of their players headed it back. We headed it back, and it fell kindly to Gibbs White, and he scored. Now, you know, that can happen. It can fall unkindly to players. And even right at the death, you know, Mitchell was in the box and he was trying to lay it off to Pino, whatever it was, and it just didn't fall. And sometimes it doesn't fall.
Paul?
And there we are. Paul.
Yeah, as we said, I said before the game when I saw the team line, I'd take a point right there and then. But you have to adapt to the game. Anyone can say, "I will take a point before the game." If the game goes the way and they have 3 injuries and 3 sendings off, you can't then say, "Oh, I would have taken a point before the game." Yeah, if someone had said to me before the game, "Would you take a point if you had an extra man for the whole of the second half?" then I probably would have said no. So you got to roll with the punches and change your expectations when the match goes. But in terms of Glasner, I'm not sure what he has to do to be sacked, to be honest. I mean, he won't. If he hasn't sacked him now, he's not going to sack him. Let's be honest. Short of losing every game 4-5-0. And again, as everyone knows, I don't think he should be there right now. And he annoyed me again yesterday with it. I mean, the team. Let's be honest. Okay, we can argue whether it was a good point or not yesterday. The team, they stopped the rot. Blah blah blah. Yeah, they got a point. Good, but they didn't play that well. They had a good first half, and second half was not good enough. But he came out after the game and he's like, we were fantastic in the first half, and first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, we were excellent. We lost our nerve, was some ridiculous comment he made. And the problem I have with that, and it was the same the week before, we're 3-0 down to Chelsea, gone down to 10 men, and he's praising them for an amazing reaction because we managed to grab a goal back at the end. Now, if you keep telling the team and the players they're brilliant and they're amazing and they're doing it, they're not going to look to improve. They're not going to change anything. They're going to still play this passy stuff. And sometimes this doesn't. A manager can come out and say, actually, we should have done a bit better. You don't have to go overboard, but you keep telling them they're that good. What's he going to change? How can he go into training this week and say, right, we need to change this, we need to change this? So they'll be like, well, you said we were fantastic, boss. What do we need to change anything for? And again, that's him protecting his reputation for me, in that he's got to tell the world his team is playing really well because he needs people to think that. So yeah, it's all that sort of stuff. And he's a lame duck now. I'd like to say the result doesn't hurt him at the end of the day. I know people say it might and all that, but if he was desperate to win that game for Crystal Palace, he would not be telling them to slow down in the 90th minute and stuff like that. So, yeah, to me, as I say, it's a sad reality. I've got nothing against him personally, and he's always going to be a legend for what he did, but I don't think it's helping us having him as manager of the club.
Thank you, mate.
Teresa Baker's got a comment. Teresa Baker made a comment. I'm not sure I can read it out, actually.
Teresa Baker, you need to wash your mouth out.
Teresa.
It made me laugh, though, Teresa. Quite funny, really. One thing I will say is that Forest are a bit of a bogey side for us because we haven't beaten them now in 11 games. All right, let's be clear about that. I'll come to you in a minute, Paul. And it's also 12 months to the day, I think, or to the weekend, it was Nottingham Forest 7, Brighton 0, which is worth remembering.
We're actually the only team who haven't beaten them since they've come up.
There we go.
Yes,
Next season.
Right, okay.
Next season.
We'll draw a line under that because I want to do, before we get onto the main topic of the day, of course, I'm just going to cover off other teams. The under-21s, Ipswich Town beat Palace 2-1 in the Premier League Division 1 at the JobServe Stadium. That was on, I can't even see, on Friday. The under-18s beat Birmingham City. Very good result. I saw some of this game. They beat Birmingham City 5-0 on Saturday. My phone's playing up, excuse me. In the Premier League at the Crystal Palace training ground. And sadly, the ladies went down 3-1 away at Southampton yesterday at the St Mary's Stadium in Southampton. Right. So the big topic of the day, of course. Okay, and yes, I will be coming to you very shortly. Before we do get on to, Paul's going to do an overview of the transfer window for us, okay? But one of the biggest stories of the day, of course, is the medical that failed in Italy for AC Milan for Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now, I asked you all at the top of the show, what do you think is next for JP? I've seen various answers coming through on the chat. That all the time he's wearing red and blue. He needs to be supported. He should be this. He should be that. Yasmin Brum, I know you're extremely vocal on this subject, okay? And I'm going to give you all my views on it in a minute, okay? What's next for JP in your preferred world, Yas?
In my preferred world, we would get him out. I don't know how. Sack him, medically retire him. I don't care. I don't want anybody playing for this team who's acted like he has. For me, I said it after the Sunderland game. I said, if he refuses to play, he is dead to me. I don't want him anywhere near the club. He refused to play, and he shouldn't be anywhere near this club. I don't want him playing with the reserves because we've got some young blokes in there. We don't want him influencing them. He's obviously got the wrong people around him. He doesn't have anyone with common sense to advise him. He's done what he's done. He's tarnished his legacy. And, I support any player who gives 100%. They may not be the best player in the world. They give 100% to help us get where we need to be. I'll support them. And I'll never boo them. I won't even boo him. But I don't want to see him anywhere near our team again.
Paul, I'm coming to you in a second. Stephen Dyer in the chat. Steve, now you're making a statement in the chat, and I'd love to know where you're getting that from. Okay, and for the benefit of everybody else, he said, goodbye, JPM, Juve on loan. Well, Steve, I don't know where you're getting that from, if it's post the close of the transfer window, but the club have actually put out this evening that that player is staying with the club. Do you know something that we don't know? Please verify what you just said in the chat. And I'm also aware that Sunderland are 2-0 down against Burnley.
A lot of love for what Yasmin said in the chat. A lot of people agree with you, Yasmin, saying well said. And I think the vast majority of Crystal Palace fans will go with that view, actually. He's burnt his bridges. There's no point in him staying here, and he's going to be bad news if he stays.
Paul, sorry, you're correcting me. Go on, mate.
Yeah, just to clarify, it's Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, not Sunderland losing. But yeah, in terms of JP, as Ian said, I think he's burnt his bridges. To be fair to, well, not to be fair to him, let's put this away. I don't think Palace have handled this very badly, as per usual this season. In that we all know we've been told all season he's been playing with an injury. So really, in September, he should have been put under the knife, done whatever to get him, because all we've done is he's been playing badly, possibly because he's injured, but we've now lumbered ourselves with an unsellable asset. Now, the problem we now also have, like everyone on this thing, I think he's done his time with Palace. He's cooked his goose. He's said too much, and he can't really play for us again, I don't think. But that puts Palace in again another very bad spot, because we're going to want to get money for him in the summer. Now, if you don't play him, he's going to cost. We're going to sell him for next to nothing. Now, okay, in an ideal world where you morals and high horses, great. That's wonderful. But in terms of a business asset and trying to recoup some of the money, which I'm pretty sure was budgeted for Strand Larsen, let's be honest, I know we've gone through with that without it, but that's probably on the basis that we get a certain amount of money for Mateta. So it's going to be interesting to see how the club do it. Obviously, Mateta is going to probably come back with his tail between his legs because he knows he wants to play for the World Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how the club have done. But ultimately, we have replaced him in advance already with Strand Larsen, and we're not paying that sort of money for someone to put him on the bench. So if Mateta comes back, hopefully the first thing they'll do is get him fit, so he could be sellable, and if he did participate, he would have some action. But I can only really see him being on the bench for the rest of the season, unless there's obviously an injury crisis. I can't see him coming back in.
Can I just jump in for a second, because I do have some potentially breaking news that you three don't even know about. I presume you guys already know Adil Cocker. He's a regular away traveller. Adil, if you're watching the show live, mate, and you've just sent me that information, can you please confirm, okay, which publication you've got that from? So what he's just sent me is a list of deal sheets that have gone in at the close of the window. And the deal sheets, one of the deal sheets that is outstanding is the Japanese guy, Kyoto Sano, from NEC to Crystal Palace. Did you know about that, Paul?
I'd seen that rumour, but I also saw a tweet from one of the whether you can believe them reputable journalists saying that it hadn't gone any further because they couldn't get a replacement.
So this is a whole list of deal sheets that have gone in post.
Yeah, maybe it's been brought back to life.
And that could have been resurrected at the last minute.
Is the McNeil one on there?
The McNeil one is on there, yeah. Yeah, yes?
There's one more thing on the JP thing that's been coming through in the chat as well. He was given an example of how to behave in a transfer.
I'm just coming on to that right now. You're quite right. Go on.
And, Ebbs, Mark, Michael Easy.
Michael, yeah.
And Mark, how he had a thing go wrong. There were no Instagram posts. There was no unfollowing of this, that, and the other. And instead, he's rewarded with 300 grand a week.
Listen, thank you for saying that, Yaz, because I was literally just going to come on to that now. The guy needs to grow up, take a lesson from those three individuals that you quite rightly quote, and you're right to quote. Michael Elise conducted himself like a proper grown man. He was a young lad at the time. He was still a young lad at the time. Mark Gahey, I would expect nothing else from him. He conducted himself like a proper gentleman, okay? And Ebbs, we all know that all three of them wanted to leave the club and better themselves. I've got no problem with that. And there is not a single Palace fan out there who would begrudge any of the success that they're going to get, okay? Because they've paid their dues to the club. That idiot needs to be, I'm sorry, but he needs disciplinary action, and he needs to be removed from the main group of players, and for even if it's for a certain amount of time, train on his own. But I don't think
I think one of the things is, Nick, that he is injured. Let's be clear about.
I was about to finish that off by saying.
Let's be clear why he didn't go. He didn't go because he failed his medical, right?
Yeah.
Now, he hasn't been playing well. So has he been carrying this injury? And is Glasner culpable because he played him through the injury, knowing that he should have not played him, but we didn't have much alternative, so he carried on playing him. Now, the best thing for Jean-Philippe Mateta, I think, is for him to come back to Crystal Palace, make an apology, and go under the knife, get his operation done and dusted, get himself well, get himself fit again, train hard and work hard. Now, time is a great healer. I'm with you, Yaz, at the moment, so I don't want to see him anywhere near the first team at the moment. But if he gets himself fit again, as he's up, gets himself fit again, then just maybe, he gives himself an opportunity of playing some minutes towards the end of the season and putting himself back in the shop window to go somewhere else next year. So I think that is probably the best outcome we can.
I believe the best outcome will be, and I think it will happen that he's going to have the operation, so he'll be away from the first team for 3 months anyway.
Yeah,
and that 3 months will bring us to the end of the season. And I make you right. I was going to say all that and exactly what Yaz said about the way the other three lads conducted themselves. Paul, you're going to give us a quick overview on the transfer window itself.
Yeah, so I mean, as things stand, we can go into the positives and the reasons for it. But yeah, the face of it, we finished the transfer window and we've certainly got three new attacking players. Obviously, a big plus to me. I've always said about speed of the window. I have nothing but credit for the club for buying Brennan Johnson on day one of the window. That's what a serious club should be doing, getting deals done early so they can play in the games in January. The other two, or potentially three, I'm less impressed about getting them so late, but we've been through that. But yeah, so we've ended up, we've broken our transfer window record twice. So you have to say fair play to the club for that. So we bought Brennan Johnson, obviously got Evan Gessard on loan, and we've now bought Jorgen Strand Larsen today with a big outlay, to be fair. So that's fair play to the club for that one. We've strengthened our attacking options, and Dwight McNeil is possibly still coming in as well. So that would be an interesting move. We were discussing earlier what the potential at midfield. We're fairly stacked in. It'd be quite interesting to see where he plays in. He's not a natural fit for our system, but whether he's been bought for a future manager perhaps, or whether he's just been bought because we know other players are off. We know Kamada and Lerma are out of contract in the summer, so it might be advanced stuff of that. So we brought the three in, and so hopefully four with McNeil. And obviously the outgoings, Romain Esse has gone out on loan. Naro Amada has gone as well, so he wasn't really much part of the squad, so can't really count him. And obviously Mark Gahey, our captain, has obviously gone as well. Now, in terms of, so 3 in, 3 out in that respect, 2 if you don't count Amada. So considering we also did very similar in the summer window, it's a bit disappointing. The one disappointing side of that is we haven't increased numbers of the squad, really, considering we've got an extra competition to play this year and all that. So that was possibly not the best way of doing it. But it's, as I say, when you look at it now, you say 3 in, 4 in. Okay, it's been a good window. But to me, again, it's a bit of a wasted opportunity because we could have had, certainly, McNeil's obviously out of favour, which is why we can get him. Gessard's out of favour, which is why we can get him. So why we didn't make these calls last week so they could have played at Forest, looking at the state of our squad, or even 2-3 weeks ago, and they could have been available for Macclesfield or anything. So it's always been my bugbear. But yeah, we've spent a lot of money, got some good attackers in. So yeah, it's I'm still a bit disappointed we didn't get a defender. I must admit. I know Ian and I spoke about this earlier. There is cover there. Whether it's good enough, we'll find out. But yeah, there's not many clubs I don't think would sell their captain and not replace him. But yeah, that's how we've done in this window.
I think a couple of them, or certainly the very late one, I'll come into you in a second here. The very late one surprised me. For those that don't know anything about him, Dwight McNeil is a 26-year-old born in 1999. He's a 6-foot winger, and it's a department where we're pretty well stacked at, really, if you think about it, as a winger. He's made 134 appearances for Burnley and 106 appearances for Everton. England under 21 international. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a very good player. Is it one that we particularly need, as Paul just rightly said, when we're desperate for a centre half? I don't know. It brings me on to my next question, actually, lads. Okay, and lasses, all of you. Whose signings are these? These all seems a little bit peculiar when you've got an outgoing manager that doesn't want to be there, who won't be there, moving hell on earth to actually get sacked anyway. You've got Larsen, Johnson, McNeil and Gessard, okay, and perhaps his other guy, Sarno as well. Whose signings are they? Could they be talking to a new manager? Are they his signings?
No, I don't believe they are. I believe that these players, Gessard and McNeil, clearly they're not getting football, and Larsen even on the bench at Wolves, they're not getting first team football at their current clubs. Therefore, they're open to a move away. Matt Hobbs has been clearly instrumental in this transfer window, trying to make a bit of a name for himself, of course. And I for one, am pleased with the window. I think it's a good window, and we've got some really good additional options to play, and it gives us that strength in depth that we need. So yesterday was a good case in point. If we'd had those players on the bench yesterday, we could have made changes on with 25 minutes to go with fresh legs and made a difference and potentially won the game. And that's what's missing at the moment. A quick word about the centre-back position and cover for Mark Gahey. You know, there's been a lot of speculation about buying somebody in to replace Mark Gahey. Paul and I differ slightly in opinion on this because I've said that with Camvo and Riyad and Lerma, we have 3 players there that could all play centre-back. And I think that's sufficient cover for the rest of this season. Paul sort of disagrees with me a bit, I think. But tell us what you think about that one in the chat. I think it's a good window. I'm happy with it. It'd be interesting to see how these players settle down. Glasner's made the point that it's always difficult in a January window for people to be integrated into the squad. But he's got time to work with them now on the training pitch. You know, he's got a full 7 days between games until we start playing Conference League again in a few weeks' time. Paul.
Yeah, this is another thing that annoys me about Mr. Glasner. I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. He moans when you don't get players, and then yesterday he's like, well, if we do buy players, it's going to set us back a bit for February. And you're like, well, make your mind up, mate. I mean, do you want them or do you not? And obviously they've got to integrate into the team, and it'll be interesting to see how many go straight in on Sunday for obviously the big one. I mean, I imagine hopefully Strand Larson will go, but then you've got to drop one of Pino, Johnson and Sarr. Obviously, Kamara and Walton are coming back in, so hopefully Lerma can drop back into the back line. So it will be interesting to see how quickly they're sort of brought into the team. Hopefully they will be, and they'll all get good use.
Okay, I'm going to just give you, in case there is any truth in the information I gave you about Sarno a little minute ago. Kado Sarno, 22-year-old, another midfielder, currently NEC Nijmegen. He wears the number 23. He's played made 50 appearances for Nijmegen and scored 7 goals. He has made 1 full Japanese appearance and 11 times for the under-20s in Japan. Born in Okayama in Japan. He's 5'9" tall midfielder. So that's just off the top of my head. I didn't have that information to hand, obviously. Okay. Yes.
Just going through the chat, is the
Yes,
McNeil a loan or a buying him?
No, they have accepted a £20 million bid from Crystal Palace. We've made a £20 million bid, and Everton have accepted it.
Thank
so it's
you.
a permanent signing.
Just to say, because Fergus, I don't know what he's drinking today, but he seems to be in a really good mood. He's ecstatic with the transfer window, and he says we're going to win against Brighton as well.
Good, Paul.
Well, looking at Fergus's chats, I think he thinks we're playing 11 up front because he's very excited with our attacking options, which would be great. And we're all for a win on Sunday, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Cap off. I'll be honest with you, especially if that Sano one comes in. That I think actually be a very good transfer window, very positive. Whether the players that we're bringing in are strong enough, whether the quality is good enough. I mean, they'll certainly give us the. Rob, you're saying loan with an obligation to buy. I don't know what you're
saying that.
That's not. Well, Sky weren't saying that before we came.
I don't think that's right because we've got Ush on loan and we've got Gessand on loan, and I thought you could only have 2 loan players. So maybe I'm wrong there.
And I'll make you right, Ian. And I'll make you right. Well, time will tell, Paul.
Yeah, that might only be 2 from your own league, I think. So Uche's not. So it could have changed. I mean, we could have done that, and then obviously they're running out of time, so they'll just say, well, let's loan him, and then you have to give us that money in the summer.
But with Gessand, there's an obligation. There's an option to buy, rather, isn't there? I think
there's an option, but there's an obligation if he plays a certain amount of games, and there's the same with Uche. So I imagine he'll probably get phased out a bit now because we don't obviously want to buy him. It doesn't look like so. Yeah, these guys will probably take some of his minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
So overall, how would you, on the scale of 1 to 10, how would you actually rate the window, Paul?
2 marks for me. At the end of it, as I've said earlier, I'm happy with the attacking options we got, happy with the players we bought. So 8 on that front. In terms of when we bought them for, we've wasted 4 or 5 league games and a cup game where we could have had strong squad. So if we bought them in the first half of the window, then it would be 8, 9. But yeah, we've thrown away a lot of games, in my opinion, that we could have been stronger for.
Ian. Of course.
7.
7.
Sorry, I was trying to make that work, but 7 is what I wanted to say.
Well done. And yes.
I think about 6. I think we're paying too much for people.
Yeah, okay, and you raised a good part. The Strand Larson price is quoted at £48 million, including add-ons. I don't think there is a Palace fan out there that wouldn't disagree. They think that's very lumpy, and I think it is very lumpy. However, that said, he had a cracking season last year. There's no reason why. He's in a struggling Wolves team where he's getting no service this year, hence why he's only scored 1 goal in this in his current campaign. Maybe with the right service, he will start adding a few more. Mind you, we said that probably about Brendan Johnson, who I have been a little bit disappointed with so far. Paul.
Yeah, I mean, as Gary's put there, you pay more in January. There's a premium for it, and it's the going rate for someone who scored 15 goals last season in the league. You're talking 40, 50 million. And Newcastle, when Isak was playing up, they were looking at him for 50 odd million as well. So, yeah, it's what you pay for a 25-year-old striker and coming into their Premier League prime.
Okay, right. Okay, I think we're going to move on because I think we've got another event coming up next weekend. It slips my mind what it is. Nigel, can we have the upcoming fixtures, please, buddy? And here they go. Oh, there it is. Look, Sunday, the 8th of February, 2:00 kickoff down at the Amex Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you travelling down there, I'm going to be amongst you. Please stay safe. Keep out of trouble. It's on Sky Sports. On the 11th of February, one of our winnable games, and it's also live on TNT Sports. 7:30 in the evening, 11th of February, Wednesday, the 11th of February, Burnley. It's one of the two games that I really feel that we've got to pick up points with. And if we don't, we have an awful lot of problems. Then at the away leg of our Conference League tie on the Thursday, the 19th of February, 17:45 hours, 5:45 in the evening, kick-off local time. Then the second one of the two games that I think that we need to pick up points is the Wolves game. Let's send them down. Sunday, the 22nd of February, 2:00 kickoff on Sky. All these games are on TV. Then the home leg, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't got your tickets for the home leg against Zrinski, which is on Thursday, the 26th of February at 8:00 kickoff, also live on TNT Sports, get down to Selhurst Park because I understand there's one or two tickets left at the moment. Let's just say that. And then we're away at Old Trafford on the 1st of March, 2:00 kickoff, also on Sky Sports. So if you haven't got your tickets, so out of those fixtures there, so let's just pop it back again, Nigel, very quickly. Brighton, Burnley and Wolves and Man United. So 4 games there, guys. Potential 12 points. I would like predictions from you, please, and how you feel we're going to get from that. And and already Mark's come back with 5 points out of that lot. So over to you. I'll start with you, Yas. What do you think first out of those 4 games?
I think 7. I think we should hopefully beat Burnley and Wolves and hopefully get at least a point from the Brighton game. The Man United one is going to be difficult. I think they are improving. So I don't think it's going to be our usual trick that we've had for the last couple of seasons.
Okay, Paul, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's exactly the same. So, I mean, the 2 home games are crucial. If you win those 2 home games, you're almost home and hosed on 35 points. And once the pressure's off, hopefully we'll start playing better and we can push up. But yeah, I mean, I'll clarify this one. I'll take a point on Sunday right now, unless we have an extra man for the whole second half. In which case I would like to think we're going to win. But it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I was reading the Brighton forums because I was wanting to revel on their 97th minute collapse the other night. It's always good fun when they've had a disaster reading their things. But a lot of their fans are very upset with the way they're playing with the manager. They've only won 1 in 11, and that was against a down tools Burnley. So they're not much better than our current run of no wins in 12. So, but it's funny because they all think we're going to smash them, and you read our sort of forums and downbeat. A lot of our people think they're going to smash us. So it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, we just got to hope the team show up, and if we can get another result like last year, which was brilliant, then that would be amazing. But yeah, so draw their at worst, and then 2 home wins, and
and you know what? On the same, I am coming to you on the same subject. There, I saw some of their deluded twats are actually saying that they think Glasner's going to be their next manager because they are a weird bunch down there. Mr. Nobes, your prediction, please.
Yeah, Russell Baker says Sarr loves Brighton away. Yeah, absolutely, Russell. So
yeah, good point.
Yeah, I'm going to go more than these 2 because I'm always more optimistic than the pair of them put together, really. So I'm going to say 8 or even 9 points. I think we'll beat Burnley. I think we'll beat Wolves. We've got a secret weapon in Jurgen Strand-Larsen. He'll know all about Wolves, won't he? He'll be able to tell us how to play against them. I don't see us losing at the Amex on Sunday. I really don't. We're either going to win or draw the game. Man United, Yaz, I'm with you a bit. We'll still travel up there full of optimism on the day, but I think United clearly look a decent outfit. at the moment. Mind you, Fulham put 2 past them yesterday and nearly got something out of it. So you never know. So you asked me for a question, long-winded answer, 8 points.
I wouldn't expect anything else from you, mate, but thank you very much. Yes, could you do us a favour? Could you have a look in the chat and give me some of the predictions from the chat, please?
Yeah, so we've got, this is the number of points, right?
Yeah.
Robert Watmore thinks 5, William Jones 7, Steve Jupp 8, Lee Lockwood 10 points minimum, Phil Bell 8 points, John Knox 7, Matthew J. Bay 6 points, doesn't care who we beat, Simon Philpott 5, Ian James Appleby 6, Luke Cooper 8, Fergus 10, and Rob Cranfield says 9 points and 2 Conference League wins. Mark Callahan 5, Daniel Garlick 12 points there surely. So,
I'll have a pint of whatever Daniel's drinking.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those drugs need to kick in sooner or later, Daniel. Is that it? Yes, is that it? Yeah.
Sorry? That's it, yeah. Oh, can I just say something?
Of course
Tim Fubar says, if Johnson scores a few, we can sing the AJ song.
Yeah, fair play, yeah.
Any thoughts?
Johnson's magic. He wears a magic hat. Yeah.
Very quickly, because I want to touch on the European games coming up, guys. But your thoughts on the early days of Brendan Johnson, please? You've seen more of the games than I have.
He's like any forward in a struggling team. He's not doing much or not getting many chances created for him. I'd like to see him in a team like the start of the season when we were creating chances. He's quick and there's something about him there. But yeah, he needs to improve like the rest of the team, and I think as the team does, hopefully he will.
Thank you. The first time I'd seen him play yesterday, and live, and I was underwhelmed by him particularly. When I've watched some of the stuff back after the game, actually there was some nice touches there, and he can take a decent corner from the left-hand side. So I remain to be convinced, but I'm sure it'll come good. Yeah,
so we got a player in there.
I think we do. I had a lot of faith in him, put him in my fantasy team, but got him out this week because I'd had enough. But I thought hopefully me taking him out means he might start improving. No, I think there is a player. Someone said earlier he was good with Pino, calming him down yesterday. And just what he came into. He came into us losing that match. It wasn't a good start.
He came into an absolute shit show. You're right to raise it.
So I hope that if we can get some confidence, it'll rub off on him. I'm sure he is a good player.
Cool. And I'm conscious of the time, you three. I'd like to your predictions also, please, on the 2 home and away legs of the European game. How do you think? We've got to go all out with this, have we not? We've got to put out our strongest team. It's the only thing we've got left to play for this season. We have got to field not what he's used to, because he's used to fielding under strength teams in Europe. He's got to go for it, has he not, Ian?
Yeah, he has, and it'd be nice, wouldn't it, to go away to Bosnia and bring back a 2 or 3 goal advantage to Selhurst, so we make it sort of comfortable for ourselves. Interesting, we play this one away first, and the advantage of the home leg second, because we finished higher in the league than the Bosnian side. I can't pronounce the name. Zrinski. But of course, if we get through this tie, we are then at home first in the round of 16. So we've got to obviously get through this one first. So and then it will sort of be random, I think. But yeah, I think we'll get through. I think we should be able to beat these comfortably. The level they play. I don't know what it equates to, but it's clearly, I don't know, League One, League Two, something like that, I would imagine, quality of their players. So someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they're particularly good. Clearly, they've done reasonably well to get as far as they have. But so there's opposition there. But we've proven, against some half-decent sides like AZ Alkmaar, we did them 3-0. Strasbourg, my goodness, we should have won that one. Oh, my life, how we didn't win that game is beyond me.
I know. Well, I will finish off. I'm going to ask you two as well in a minute. But Ian, you said we should beat them. I've got one word to say to you, and that is Macclesfield.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I wasn't in the country for that, so that's why.
All right.
Okay. Well, I was, Ian, and I was there, and I have to say that scarred me for life. I think, yes, we should beat them, but as Nick said, we didn't beat Macclesfield, so we seem to struggle against these lower teams. I don't know why, but yeah, I have to hope we'll win. Maybe it will be a draw at the away game, and we'll beat them at home. I don't know, but yeah, we should beat them.
But he goes full strength. He goes full strength. I would play the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all day long. Paul, the final word to you, mate.
Oh, the other word is Larnaca, and
yeah,
we managed to lose to them as well. We won't count Cooks because we changed the whole team, but yeah, it's going to be interesting because they're going to probably play a low block against us, and we struggle against that. So, but he will go full strength. He always does in the cup, bar that game because we had Leeds a few days after and stuff. So, no,
that worked well, didn't it?
Well, yeah, we less said about that the better. But that was the only reason he changed the team. But yeah, you'd like to think we'll be too good for them over 2 legs. So yeah, don't care how we do it. But just
ladies and gentlemen out in YouTube land, I've been reading all your comments. You've been really busy out there. Thank you all very much for every single bit of content you put in there. I will go back and read them all again in a second after the show's finished. Paul, Ian, Yaz, as always, thank you very much. And once again, those of you travelling down to get your feet wet down at the coast of the weekend, please stay safe, stay out of trouble, and bring back the 3 points. I will be with you. My friends, on behalf of all of the Red and Blue review team, I wish you well. Stay safe. Good night, and thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night, folks. See ya.
Bye.